everyone, this is Alexis from Play by Pause. Today I'm in Cameron Highlands, one of the biggest tea plantation estate in Malaysia. And today we will be sharing you 5 easy posing tips for couples that you can apply to your shoots right away. Today we have 2 talents here, Sean and his wife Joanna, and I'm shooting on the Sony A7III, which I'll be pairing with the 35mm 1.4 G Master and the 55 1.8. So the reason we're bringing you this content is easy. I understand that posing, especially for couples who have no experience, is very difficult and sometimes very challenging. Even for professional models, they take years to practice to nail the right pose. What more to say, we only have a couple of hours, and if we're lucky, the whole day to study how our couples interact with each other, what their chemistry is like. So I hope that today's video will bring you some value in teaching you how to get started right away. So let's get started with the first tip. The first tip is easy. When you are posing your couples, try to create a lot of variety around the basic pose that they're doing. So to demonstrate, right now the both of them are on a standing pose. So now they're in a basic pose where they're standing next to each other. And within the same pose, actually, you can create a variety of poses. In what sense? In a way that whichever direction they're facing. Let's say I'm asking them to face each other. So Joanna and Sean, please face each other. Stick pose where they're just looking. And how you can create variation is you can utilize their limbs. So now their hands are dangling, it looks a little bit awkward. What I will do is I'll ask Joanna to put her hands on his chest, and then Sean will put his other hand on her waist. Yeah. And one other tip here is that you see that their faces are too much closer to each other. They should open up a little bit. So have both your faces face the camera a little bit more. Yeah. But looking at each other. Yeah. So that's good. This is nice. Right. So let's try another position. Sean, can you stand behind Joanna? Right. And Joanna will lean on Sean's chest. That's very nice. And I will ask Sean to touch her on her hands, the one with the ring. Yeah. And Sean, can you stand straighter? Close your legs. Yeah. But your left leg, you can relax a little bit. Just open it up slightly. The other leg. Yeah. And Joanna, can you move your body towards him slightly? Yeah. So this is again a basic pose where Sean is hugging Joanna from the back. So how do you create variation on this? Very simple. You can, Sean, move your hands up towards her chest, like grabbing her around the chest area, see? So this immediately creates a very intimate moment between them from just a basic, like prom look alike kind of pose to a very intimate kind of shot. So let's try this. So there you have it. From one basic just standing pose, you can actually create multiple variations, and you can get really creative with how they interact with each other. And I think it's very good to ease them to that process, right? Because if you keep moving them around but doing the same repetitive move, actually it creates a very disruptive mode for the couples that are posing. So I highly recommend creating more variations with the poses, play around with their hand placement and all that. So hopefully you can practice this with your client next time. Okay, for the second tip, I will be sharing how you can use props to enhance that sense of connection and intimacy that they have. Props can be in the form of clothing, could be a jacket or a hat. It could be the bouquet you're holding, their wedding bands, or even like the natural surrounding right now, like these trees or the tea leaves around us. Right, so the reason why I use props is because some couples are actually very shy. So to, diffuse that awkwardness between them, sometimes I ask them to take the attention away from each other, instead focus on, let's say, their clothing. So let's demonstrate with that. Joanna, can you face Sean? Right? Maybe some people, they are not used to putting their hands over the shoulder kind of thing. But if you put the attention away from the body parts, but more so on their clothing and whatnot, like let's say put your hand on clothes here, and then Sean, can you touch her hand with the ring, just like slowly caressing the ring? Yeah. So now you're taking the attention away from each other. They're looking at the ring. Yeah. But Joe, maybe you can look at Sean, and Sean will be looking at the ring. Both of your face closer slightly. Yeah. So for this kind of shot, I think it's great for close-ups, especially. So let's try a few. For the third tip, it's more about me moving around and them staying stagnant. So the good thing about this is that you can get really creative with this kind of shot. You can go really close to them, or you can go really far to get a very creative shot. So let's try getting really close to them. And for this, I will change my lens to the 55mm to get some detailed shot of the couple. So now I'm going to move really close to them. Don't be afraid to get real close, get detailed shots. For example, okay, can both of you face each other? Okay, really close, like where your nose are touching. Sean, your hand with the ring touch her face, not covering her face, yeah, just slightly. Yeah, so I'm gonna go really close to the ring, get some detailed shots. Yeah, so just getting some nice close-up of the both of them. Joanna, smile. Okay, you can put your lips there. Yes, the smiling with your teeth. And Joanna, you can also put your hand on his face, like grab it. That's cute. Yeah. Okay, now I'm done with the close-up. I'm going to move around and find an artistic angle to make this look good. Let's try. So this is where you can get a little bit creative. You can play around with the angles. Wow, it's quite interesting. So I'm going to try some shots here. Joanna and Sean, okay, so can you both hold hands? Right. Yeah, so what I'm doing here, I'm actually framing them in between these two tree trunks. The tree trunk nearer to me is the foreground, and the other tree trunk is the background. This creates an interesting image. Usually for this kind of shot, it's mostly for artistic value, and it gives your couple some space to interact with one another, so you're not always in their face. Okay, so this part here is actually quite nice too. So now I just want both of you to stand apart. Yeah, be careful. And both of you are facing the tea leaves. Yeah, and just look in front. Yeah, chin up. So that's how you frame your couples if you are trying to be a bit more creative. Don't be afraid to move around slightly and find an angle that is interesting, be it super wide or from a very low angle, you know, just to create some variety in the shots that you're going to give your clients at the very end. All right, Joanna, you can touch the tea leaves with your left hand, yeah, as you guys are walking towards the end. Sean will look back at Joanna for a while, and then Joanna, you can look at the tea leaves and then look at Sean, okay? Just keep it like casual. Okay, you may start now. Okay, you can turn around, look at Joanna. Like, I'm taking you to an adventure. Yeah, that's really nice. So that's tip number 4, is where I actually create movement into the shot. So typically this creates a more dynamic interaction with the couples. So even though I'm shooting photos, right, it doesn't mean every shot has to be stagnant. So I like to give them very easy to follow cues, such as what I just told Joanna. You can touch the leaves as you're moving. Sean, look back at her while you're looking forward. So these are very easy sequence shots and cues that your couple can practice. And as you're shooting, try to shoot in bursts, because that way you can find very interesting in-between shots. And this is my tip number 4 for you. Okay, I'm going to demonstrate another way of incorporating movement in a stagnant shot. So I'm going to give them a series of cues that they can follow, and let's see how it works. Across her chest. So what happens now is you're trying to keep her in your grasp, but Joanna, you're trying to fight and you're trying to struggle and wrestle out of it. Yeah, so while you're both doing that, I want the both of you to be laughing while doing that. One. Okay, on my cue. 1, 2, 3. Yeah, just fight with each other. Yeah, and then I'll be shooting in bursts. You can move her around, turn towards me. So you see, this is a very playful way of spicing up the session, and this is really a great way to make sure they also have fun in the process of posing for their pre-wedding or their engagement shoots. Now it's my final and my 5th tip, which is to be very communicative with your client. You should always give them very positive reinforcement and feedbacks while doing the shoot. So what do I mean by that? As you can see from my session with Sean and Joe, when they're doing something good, I'll tell them that looks good, yes, continue doing it. So these are all the little cues you can give them, reassure them that they're doing the right thing. Because remember, they are not professional models, and most of them are only doing this for the first time. So I think communication is key and something we should all work on. So there you have it. These are my 5 tips for today, and I really hope you will find some value in today's video and go out there and shoot your first session, or if you are a professional who's looking for a more systematic way to run your pre-wedding and your wedding day shoot. If you like this video, please let us know, comment, share with your community, and last but not least, remember to always create, learn and have fun. See you next time.